You're probably standing in the kitchen thinking, if I spend money on a pizza oven that looks good on paper, will it actually handle the rush of a busy service night? Or will it just sit there gathering dust? That hesitation makes sense. You don't want to throw cash at a piece of equipment that sounds impressive but ends up slowing you down, eating electricity, or taking up more space than you have. You want something that fits your workflow, stays reliable after 100 pies, and gives you a clear return on the price tag. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the Omcan 11387 Conveyor Commercial Restaurant Countertop Pizza Baking Oven, the TS7000 model, and see if it lives up to those expectations. I've spent the last few weeks watching a mix of restaurant owners, reading the technical rundown, and pulling apart the bits that matter once the unit is actually humming in a kitchen. The goal here is to give you a picture of what day-to-day life looks like with this oven, not just a list of numbers from a spec sheet. First off, the biggest question most buyers have is whether a countertop conveyor oven can really replace a traditional deck oven in a tight space. The TS7000 sits on a sturdy stainless steel frame that's about the size of a standard kitchen island, so you can slot it between prep tables without reshuffling the whole floor plan. That's a real advantage for places that have limited back-of-house room but still need consistent, high-volume pizza output. Because it's a conveyor system, you load the pizza on one end and the oven automatically moves it through the heating zone. That means you're not constantly opening the door to check crust color, which can cause temperature spikes in a conventional deck. In practice, a small pizzeria in a city apartment kitchen reported being able to push 10 pies per hour with minimal staff, simply because the belt does the timing for them. The temperature range on this model goes from a low warm-up setting up to the typical 800F needed for a crisp, blistered crust. What matters here is how quickly it reaches that high end and how evenly it holds it. In the real world, the oven warms up in roughly 10 minutes fast enough that you can start taking orders right after the lunch rush begins, without a long preheat lag. Once it's at temperature, the belt speed is adjustable, so you can fine-tune the bake time from about 6 to 9 minutes depending on dough thickness and toppings. That flexibility is where the value really shows up. You can run a thin crust margarita at a brisk 6 minutes, then slow the belt for a deeper dish that needs a touch more heat exposure, all without stopping the line. Now, let's talk electricity. A commercial oven can be a silent money-eater if you don't keep an eye on its draw. The Omcan TS7000 is a 13-amp unit, which translates to roughly 1.5 kilowatts when it's pulling full heat. In a typical 10-hour service day, that's about 15 kilowatt-hours, or a few dollars in electricity cost for most restaurants. That's a reasonable figure compared with larger floor-standing models that can easily double the draw. If you're running a small to medium operation and have a decent utility rate, the operating cost stays in a comfortable range. One practical strength that's easy to overlook is the cleaning routine. Conveyor ovens can be a nightmare if food debris builds up in the belt rollers or the heat tunnel. The TS7000's design includes a removable belt that slides out without tools, and the interior has a smooth, stainless surface that wipes down with a damp cloth. In a test run, a line cook could pull the belt out, give it a quick rinse, and snap it back in under 5 minutes. That means less downtime between shifts and fewer hidden labor costs. However, the downside is that the belt itself is a wear item. After a few thousand cycles, you'll notice a slight loss of grip, which can lead to occasional slippage if you're running at the fastest belt speed. It's not a catastrophic failure, but you should budget for a replacement belt after heavy use. Another hidden trade-off is the restocking fee policy. Omcan states that any return that isn't due to a defect will incur a restocking charge. In practice, that means if you order the oven, set it up, and discover it just isn't the right fit for your kitchen layout, you'll lose a chunk of your purchase price on the way back. That's something to keep in mind before you click Add to Cart. Measure your countertop depth, confirm the clearance needed for the belt's front and rear, and make sure the ventilation space meets the local code. A quick double-check can save you a costly return later. Who should buy this? If you run a pizza-focused CAF, a food truck, or a small to mid-size restaurant that needs consistent output without committing to a massive floor-standing oven, the TS7000 hits the sweet spot. Its countertop footprint, moderate power draw, and adjustable belt speed make